What's up, knife freaks?
My name is Jonathan McNees, and this is McNees Knives. I've been what we call a knife freak for as long as I can remember. I literally do not remember a time when I wasn't just totally fascinated with knives. Growing up, we lived in a very do-it-yourself kind of household. My mom sewed, my dad did woodworking and stuff, so it was kind of natural that I ended up progressing to wanting to make knives. It took a while because I'm old enough that I was pre-internet. I knew there were big factories out there, but I didn't know that individual knife makers was really a thing. So then fast forward to on into, I guess, my 30s, looking on the internet at knives led me to realize that, hey, there's actually guys out there making some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen in their garages and little shops at their house. And so once I figured out that other people were doing it, I knew I had to give it a try. When I first started, we had just moved into a new house, and I did have enough foresight to build a small 20 by 20 shop. No electricity to it. I literally ran an extension cord about 100 feet from the house there to have power to it. And I had this small little crappy grinder, and I just told my wife one day, I was like, I think I'm gonna go try to make a knife. And I had a piece of steel I collected from somewhere, and I went back there and started just removing metal on that grinder. It was far from perfect, but it did allow me to make something that was at least knife shaped. But yeah, I was just super excited. I was running up to the house to show my wife. I was showing all my friends and stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was just the most awesome thing ever, that I could actually take just a raw piece of metal and turn that into a crude but functioning knife. When I made those first couple, I knew I had found my calling, and everything just kept progressing from there. I eventually took some plans that I'd found online, and I pieced together the most franking grinder janky setup you could possibly imagine. But I started grinding knives, and I ground hundreds of knives on that little franking grinder. Had to upgrade from it when I got to grinding really big choppers. They would bog the grinder down so bad, it's getting ridiculous. So I finally broke down and reinvested some of the money to buy a real grinder, and then that's honestly what we've kept doing this whole time. Buying a piece of equipment, making some stuff with it, selling it, and buying the next piece of equipment, and then gaining more knowledge as we go. Going from just kind of a hobbyist maker to being a production company owner, it's honestly a completely different method of building knives. I realized I was only going to make so much impact in the industry or in the world, period, as just a solo maker. So to be able to scale, I had to learn a whole new skill set of the CNC machining and designing in CAD and CAM. So that was definitely a challenge. But at the same time, I feel like we've done a really good job of maintaining the kind of style that I did as a handmade maker. You know, I feel like they still have that organic feel, but we're just doing it on machines. I absolutely probably wouldn't even be doing this at all, and for sure wouldn't be doing it at the scale we're doing without my wife, Amy. So she has been extremely supportive this entire time. She's sacrificed a lot. Back when I was a custom maker doing handmade stuff, she was actually the one that told me it was time to go full-time when I was just doing it as a part-time maker, kind of a hobby thing, and has for sure made tons of sacrifices. She continued to work a full-time job, even though the plan all along was to get her involved and be full-time in the business. And then when we saw that it was feasible and okay, she made the leap and came on full-time, and our business has taken off tenfold since then. That's been probably one of the key catalysts to having her here. I'm constantly going to her and asking her, what do we need to build this week? She keeps an eye on everything. She knows what the dealers have, what they don't have. So she's really like our North Star when it comes to everything, and just keeps everybody on track, and probably keeps me from getting in over my head a whole lot. We're very much still writing the story of McNees Knives because I kind of got a late start. I didn't find my calling until, like I said, I was in my 30s. We're running wide open, trying to catch up and build this thing as big as we can, as fast as we can, while still maintaining our values. Just have overall integrity, to always make sure that our customers know what they're getting when they get our knife, that we back them up with great customer service, staying made in the USA. That's extremely important to me. Our industry has moved to having their stuff done overseas, and I really want to be a part of and be in the forefront of keeping stuff made in the USA, which is our big mantra. We live in a society now where so much of our stuff is just disposable. They don't have a soul to them. And that's one of the things I would always want people to recognize and say about our knives, is they feel like they have a soul to them, where you can tell that the individual craftsman has worked on that, and we don't lose that to just some kind of mass-produced product. there's several other companies out there that have been doing this a lot longer than us, and we hear it a lot that it's like, man, I got one of yours, and that's just like, I can't carry my other knives anymore because I like this one so much. I can't keep it out of my pocket. That's always great to hear. I definitely am very proud of how far we've come, but we're just getting started.